Hello everybody, welcome to Planet Holistic. My name is Todd Schaefer, and today I've got a really great podcast for you on personal development. So today's podcast is on assuming positive intent, even when there is none. So what the heck do I mean by that? Well, here's what it means. When people make ambiguous comments and we don't really know what their intent is, it's a really good practice of high self-worth and professionalism to respond positively and to respond like the intent was positive and to not engage in any potentiality of negativity, but to just own it, right? It really shows some maturity to do this. Now, I can tell you right now that I am not perfect at this. Sometimes I get triggered. Sometimes I respond poorly. Sometimes something innocently said by somebody else who may just be curious sometimes hits my sunburn, and it makes me want to respond defensively, or it makes me want to go into victimhood. It makes me want to complain about it to other people. And I do my best to recognize that if I am triggered by something, that I should not react to that person. I can either be quiet or I can say thank you. And maybe if I need to, I can go process it with a friend or something, right? And deal with the trigger. But if we're talking about somebody who we don't really know, or we're talking about a stranger's comment, we don't have to do anything with that person. We don't have to address it necessarily with that person. But we can choose to take the high road, to not choose to go into victimhood, and not let that sunburn affect us. I mean, if you really think about it, what somebody says, if it's ambiguous, whether it's malicious or completely innocent, we're assuming it's completely innocent, it's probably due to their curiosity and or their ignorance, right? Or they could be trying to connect with you for all you know. I've run into this recently myself. And after I dealt with it and talked it out with a friend, we concluded that this person was probably trying to connect with me. So it's a really good thing that I didn't react to this person with negative intent. Now again, I'm not perfect at this, but it is something we should all subscribe to, just to practice being better people and to practice being more professional. Especially if you're an aspiring author, boy, you better learn how to handle curveballs as they get thrown at you. Kira's a master at this. She always assumes positive intent. And if she's not sure, she'll ask me about it, and I'll give my opinion. And we'll deal with the trigger separately from the situation and the person who may have said it. Here's a really fantastic example of another person who used to deal with ambiguous intent very well. Dr. Wayne Dyer. In one of his books that I read, he told a story about dealing with family, like relatives, extended family. I don't know if it was his own or somebody else's, but he went to visit them, and they were very steeped in negativity and were always criticizing and things like that. And, they just made negative comments and things that Wayne could have taken very personally or negatively, or things that his ego could have easily justified reacting to, and gone right into victimhood. But instead, he took the high road, and now granted, this isn't the first time Wayne has dealt with this. He's a professional. He was a professional by the time he dealt with this. But he took the high road and said, when someone made a negative comment, he would say, it's really interesting that you say that. And here's my comment about that. And he would respond, assuming that the person had positive intent, even if there was none. So he was an expert at responding to the content of what someone said and not responding to the negativity and not responding to how he himself may have been triggered. Now, Wayne was an awesome example of how to deal with those kinds of things, and way better than I have ever been at dealing with those types of things. But it's a wonderful example to assume positive intent, whether people are attacking you or whether people are ignorant and curious and or they're just awkwardly trying to connect with you, which can be the case sometimes. So I invite everyone to practice assuming positive intent, and even if it's negative intent, you can neutralize anyone's negativity more often than not if you choose to engage, or you might just turn around and leave. But boy, talk about being an example for other people, to not choose to go into victimhood, to not choose to let your sunburn and your traumas and your pain to dictate how you're going to respond to a situation, to a person who probably does not know anything about you, but has inadvertently touched your sunburn, which is exactly what happens when we don't assume positive intent. So situations like these can help us to use opportunities like this to cultivate more personal self-awareness, to not let the ego drive us into victimhood and into our past pain, and to come away from any situation of ambiguity with triumph, connection, love, support. That's the kind of person that I want to be, despite how well I do or don't do at this. But it's something I would love to get better at and aspire to. And I invite everyone listening to do the same thing. Assume positive intent, even when you know that there is none. And don't let your past pain, trauma, sunburn dictate who you are and who you're going to be. You can make a change right now, no matter what's showing up for you. That choice is a choice that we all have. And it is an incredible choice. A choice of victimhood or a choice of self-empowerment. Very powerful stuff. So thank you to Wayne Dyer. Thank you to everyone listening. And I hope you take the high road. Thanks, everybody. This is Todd Schaefer, Planet Holistic.